Oh yeah, Hero Hey. Yeah, this is I gotta admit, this is absolutely frightening. Like the censorship that we're now seeing of the internet, how quickly that's sort of spreading. Like the UK's online act, which supposedly is to protect the children, more like to shut down political dissent and to monitor what the citizens are doing. Yes, citizen, you'll do what you're told. Yes, daddy government. So yeah, let's have a look at Hero
Welcome
Hey.
back, guys. Hope you've been having a great weekend. Unfortunately, though, we've got a
Gotta admit, I like Hero Hay's new avatar. I remember watching when he didn't have that. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
number of very disturbing updates to go over in this video regarding the
All right, let's
ongoing
do it.
situation with various governments trying to invade your privacy, censor you, change the internet for the worse. You know, all this.
You know, I must be showing my age now. Like I was around during the wild days of the internet before Gamergate and things like that, when you could pretty much go and see and do anything really on the internet. Like it was fantastic. There was no political trigger warnings and shit like that. Like you just went and looked and enjoyed the content that was out there. I think this whole thing that you've got to censor everyone to stop children from looking at these supposedly bad websites. Well, yeah, of course, there's bad websites out there. There always has been. So, but the issue is, before there was bad websites, like there was the old sort of magazines that people used to get and used to hide. Like, geez, I remember being a teenager, you'd hide the magazines in cupboards under your bed and stuff like that. Like you'd have the old VHS recordings of adult content. So it's not a new thing. It just makes it easier for kids. But then again, there's controls out there. If you want to stop kids from accessing adult content, then you can take steps about it. You can, for example, not allow kids access to the internet. Don't give them smartphones. Give them a dumb phone if you want to have contact. Not every kid has to have the new Android or new iPhone. You don't have to do it. Or you can be sort of trusting and allow your kids to do that. Like, not all kids want to live in the bloody looking at the adult content. Some are just happy playing Roblox or Minecraft and things like that. You can set up the computer to be in a public shared space so you can see what the hell they're doing. Like this whole online censorship and supplying ID, it's just bullshit. Now let's continue.
The sort of stuff we've been talking about for about the last week now, as it's still getting worse, unfortunately. Now, I've got this wonderful little graphic here on screen from the account SK Bytes. And this is just like a quick prologue of the stuff that's been going on leading up to this. As a very, very brief recap, then we'll get into all the new stuff, and I'll show you that in no specific order. I've got like 8 different things that, as mentioned, are all very disturbing. So before we get into that,
Well,
let's just
they're all
this
very
real quick.
disturbing
Graphic
anyway,
says,
from what I've been
George
hearing.
Orwell was right. It's happening. Legal speech is now quote-unquote harmful.
Yeah, I got to admit that is very true. It's very sad, actually. Like looking at the like where Western civilization pretty much came from, like Europe, United Kingdom. Like shit, posting a bloody meme online and getting arrested for it. Like how sad's that? Like that is like dystopian. Like, excuse me, citizen, you're committing a thought crime. Like, how dare you? Like, you can't police what people are thinking and what they believe. Sure, some people out there have some pretty fucked up beliefs, but I'm always under the opinion that if you want to fight bad ideas, you've got to bring them into the sunlight and actually discuss and debate. And if your argument is weaker, then that just shows you that you're in the wrong. Whereas if your argument is stronger and you can show clearly that people are doing stupid things, well, clearly then you're in the right then. You can't just bloody turn around and go, I disagree with you, therefore your thoughts can't be shared in public. This will just take it all underground. Like, it's madness. I can't believe how shit's happening so quickly at the moment. Like with YouTube wanting to bring on bloody AI filters to check to see if you're an adult or not, or doing face scans or uploading government IDs to a third-party site. Like, what the hell's that about? You do that, and that's giving your data to someone else and permission for them to use it however they see fit. There will be no sort of anonymity on the internet anymore. You won't be able to go and look at the things that you want to look at. You won't be able to interact with the people you want. Like, for example, I quite enjoy my privacy, hence I've got my little Aswang avatar here and not showing my face. I don't feel the need to tell the world who I am and yell it from the top of a mountaintop. And having to supply this sort of information to YouTube, Google, or whoever, whichever wants it, or the government, it's pretty messed up. And if you jump on Twitter for 5 seconds, or X, and you see the amount of trolling accounts that are there, like both in the right wing and the left wing, like, God, just the toxicity there. Do I agree with everything they say? Well, hell no. But they do have the right to say it, regardless if I'm offended or not. Here in Australia, we don't have freedom of speech, same as the UK, Europe. It's only really the US that enshrines it in their constitution. Like, remember back in the days of the Koof Koof, like, we had people here in Australia being arrested for spreading mis and disinformation because the government didn't agree with their narrative. And it's now been proven that these people were right. It wasn't mis and disinformation, it was the government that was spreading all that. And yet somehow we're meant to believe the government's going to do the right thing with our information. They're going to censor us and tell us what is right and what is wrong. I come from a scientific background, and each time I hear that the science is settled, it just makes me so annoyed, because science isn't about that. Science is about questioning, asking the hard questions, and not taking sort of no for an answer or a consensus. Like, it doesn't work like that. You need to actually test and keep testing. Like a scientific hypothesis, you look at something, you test it, and then if it proves enough times that you can't disprove it, then it'll become a theory. And once it's a theory, you still try and disprove it. Like, it's different than most people think, oh yeah, the theory of this is blah, 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 which is actually more like a hypothesis in the way they're talking. But eventually, when a theory's been proven, like, that it can't be disproven, then it becomes a law, like the law of gravity. Like, we can't disprove that no matter how hard we've tried. So each time someone tells you that the science is settled, or to believe the scientists, don't. Because that's not true science. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Back to Hero Hey.
Platforms forced to censor you or face ruin. Age checks equal surveillance and digital ID. Privacy crushed. Dissent deleted. They're not banning ideas outright. They're programming the machines to erase them silently.
Like 2 + 2 = 5, dear citizen.
The government has handed itself the power to police thought. This is no longer democracy. It's a digital dictatorship. And yeah, there is a little typo there, but hey, it's a nice graphic. So let's start with this clip that I saw posted by the
No,
account
no, not
Skeletor
UN.
Explain, showing this member of the UN, Antonio Guterres, or however you say that. Obviously, as you can see, the quality's pretty low, but what's important is what he's saying. So let's play this 30-second clip. Yeah, this is...
There we go. Digital platforms are being misused to divert science and spread misinformation. Once again, when people say to believe the science, don't. You need to question the science, as a good scientist does. Like, as soon as you start going, you can't question the science, then obviously there's an agenda.
This is quite an interesting clip. Let's take a look.
Digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate to billions of people. This clear and present global threat demands clear and coordinated global action.
Dear citizen, you'll believe what you are told. The government is the sole source of truth.
Our policy brief on information integrity on digital platforms puts forward a framework for a concerned international response.
Typical through the United Nations. Basically a body that has so many unelected officials, it's not funny. It's not a democracy, it's more of a dictatorship.
So we've got this member of the UN using this rhetoric to try and justify what these various governments seem to be doing to the internet, saying, once again, digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate. All rhetoric, as mentioned, that they're just trying to use to censor free speech.
Well, he's not wrong. That's exactly what they're doing. Like, we saw that during the Koof, like, the science was questioned, even though there was no science when they first started to come out with the jabs. They said that this will stop people from spreading it. You won't catch it if you get jabbed. Turns out that was mis and disinformation spread by the governments and the chief medical officers and people claiming that the science had been settled, which it hadn't. So yeah, as I said, when people tell you the science is settled, don't trust them, because that's not a mark of a good scientist. Scientist has to question, has to run experiments, has to test. We need to understand. And the thing is, there's an interesting one. Like, when I was back at uni, I studied geology. And in geology, there's a famous series called the Bowen reaction series, which basically states how rock mineralogy will change from a mafic rock, which is a magnesium iron-rich rock, down into a silica-rich rock. So it'll go from your basalts down into your feldspars, down into your micas, and down eventually into quartz. And the man Bowen, who discovered this reaction series, he proceeded to go out and basically examine his theory, his reaction series, and he actually proved himself wrong. He proved that his entire concept of this Bowen reaction series was incorrect. I won't go into all the scientific details of how he did it, but it was a very comprehensive study. So yeah, he actually disproved himself. And that's what a good scientist does. They don't just accept the truth of their original experiments. They actually go out and they try and disprove it to try and make their arguments stronger. So, yeah, don't believe what they say when they say the science is settled.
Invade your privacy, police whatever they deem as quote-unquote wrong think. I don't need to sit here explaining it. You guys surely understand all of this. And who exactly is this guy, Antonio Guterres? Well, first paragraph of Wikipedia is I'll be reading on this guy, but this says, Portuguese politician and diplomat who is serving as the 9th and current Secretary General of the United Nations since 2017. A member of the Portuguese Socialist Party, Guterres served...
There we go. Socialist Party. Explains a lot.
Served as the Prime Minister of Portugal from 1995 to 2002. This tweet from Samantha Smith goes on to detail with a video clip we're going to watch how she was approached by UK's elite police squad. The one that...
Now, this is pretty messed up. Like, for a country to turn their back on the girls and women that were mass abused for the sake of social cohesion is ridiculous. If people are out committing crimes regardless of their sex, gender, or ethnicity, they should A, be thrown into jail as soon as possible, or if they're not like citizens of that country, should be deported after they've served their jail time. You don't want these sort of people in your country, regardless if they're like Christian, Muslim, atheist, Buddhist, whatever. They want to commit crimes, get them out. That's simple. Like, you want migrants coming into your country that are actually going to enhance the country and make it stronger. And if you keep bringing in these people doing the wrong things, then you're going to lower the standard of everyone's living there. It's just that simple, really. Like, I know plenty of wonderful Pakistani people, Indian people. They're not all like these people doing the bad things in the UK, like case-by-case basis. Like, you want people that are going to contribute to your country and make it stronger and better. But all the riffraff, yeah, get rid of them. Like, just put them in jail. If they do the wrong thing, then deport them when they're done.
We mentioned the other day when we read this article, which I'll just read the headline of now, the one that said, "Elite Police Squad to Monitor Anti-Migrant Posts on Social Media." And you can reasonably presume this is the exact sort of quote-unquote hateful speech that Mr. Guterres was referring to in that UN speech in the clip that we watched a moment ago. How dare you criticize these policies? You're not allowed to do that. You might get a knock on your door. And no, I'm not kidding. That seems to be what happened to Samantha. As she says, "I went on TV to discuss Pakistani grooming gangs in my labor-run hometown of Telford. The next day, officers banged on my door, wanting to shut me up for exposing them. With the Online Safety Act now in force, no one is safe."
Well, yeah, no one is safe. Like, she's just reporting on what actually happened. And for the police to go and harass a survivor of these bloody assaulting gangs, like, geez, sack them. Get them out of the force. Like, you should have people trying to protect the citizens, not hide crimes.
If it happened to me, it can happen to anyone.
I was on your show last Monday, same time practically. I came off, there was a fantastic response from the public. I was really, my heart was warmed by the support and outreach that I received from those that either didn't know what had been going on in Telford for decades. Up to 1,000 girls had been reported to have been.
1,000 girls. Like, 1,000. Man, that just blows my mind. Like, seriously, 1,000 girls assaulted. Like, and they swept it all under the carpet. Like, that just blows my mind. I'm sure if it was the other way around and it was like British men going out and attacking and assaulting women of minorities, like, yeah, the hell that would be risen is phenomenal. Whereas this, like, I don't know why we stand for it anywhere. Why the British stand for it, why the international community doesn't stand for it. Like, when Elon Musk started doing the tweets about it a couple of months ago, like, he brought attention to it. Then you heard the politicians, United Kingdom, like, cursing Elon and just ignoring it. Like, it's crazy. It does my head in.
Been abused by grooming gangs since the 1980s, or those that had no idea that it could potentially still be going on, and the scale of police, council and social services failings. I went back home, I went back to Telford, and the next day around lunchtime, 2 police officers banged on my door demanding that I speak to them about my interview.
Really? So the police who have done nothing for the entire 3rd millennium to date
It's funny, they do nothing and yet they harass a survivor. Like, God, hang your heads in shame, gentlemen.
Suddenly were roused to activity by you going on television.
Yeah, they told me that they had gone round to all of the addresses they had on file for me. They had gone to my previous home addresses, the different accommodations that I'd stayed at looking for me, and eventually they located me, you know, they hunted me down, they tracked me, banged on my door, you know, not too different to when they're knocking on the door of a perpetrator, of a potential criminal. I was on FaceTime to my friend at the time, who said to me afterwards, I genuinely thought you were going to get arrested from the way that they were talking to you.
Actually, surprised they didn't arrest her.
That they would be protecting people who would be trying to expose these grooming gangs, right? Like, you would think the police should want to protect the people exposing them and go after them. But in some sort of twisted world, apparently they're trying to silence the people speaking out about that stuff.
They told
That's
me
crazy.
That, quote unquote, when you
Crazy.
go on TV News and talk about grooming gangs in Telford, it's our duty to follow up with you.
How the fuck is it their duty to follow up? Like, seriously, if they did their job in the first place, like, it wouldn't have happened. But they didn't. They just wanted to sweep it under the covers because they didn't want to be called racist. That's all it is.
That's not actually true, is it?
No.
So the police are, among other things, lying to you.
It's funny, I said to them,
Hi,
it's funny
Nicole.
that they did absolutely nothing to bring my accusers to justice, but when I went on national TV, my abusers to justice, but when I went on national TV and talked about the industrial scale of their failings and their inaction in bringing to justice the perpetrators of vile sex crimes in Telford, that they are suddenly spurred into action to come and knock on my door and intimidate me into silence.
It's pretty pathetic, these big butch coppers being so insecure that you going on
Very
TV
bloody insecure.
and criticising them can drive them into action that they otherwise haven't taken for decades. Do you know who actually ordered up this, I guess raid is the word for it?
I have absolutely no idea. I know that it was
Either the politicians or the senior
police
police.
from the CSE team that knocked on my door. They said they had been working for the force for a year and 6 months respectively, and they were quote unquote trying to make a difference. I don't
Trying to make
No
a difference.
way. As if it wasn't bad enough. I mean, that's just silly. I mean, I can't believe that. Oh, we're trying to make a difference here. How dare you speak against this stuff? You're not helping anyone. We're the ones trying to make a difference.
You go, boys. Make a difference. Show them how it's really done. Try and lift the value of the British state.
You gotta be kidding me, dude.
don't know what difference they were making by going after a victim rather than the perpetrators, those that have been systematically using grooming and passing girls round, like, you know, like
well,
for decades.
Absolutely insane. Of course, there is so much that could be said about that. It is just vastly disturbing, and my apologies for having to cut some of that. You probably saw the disclaimers I put on screen for very brief portions of that clip. She, as mentioned, did go into further detail about these disgusting crimes. And yeah, just think of the worst possible stuff that can happen to women and children. And that's the sort of stuff that she's talking about.
Oh, jeez. I just can't believe that they allowed this to happen in Britain. The so-called bastion of free speech, as Keir Starmer says, trying to intimidate a victim into silence whilst letting the perpetrators get away with it. Like, fuck.
That they apparently don't want her talking about. And that takes us to the next part of the video. In the UK, the Office of Communications is getting more and more desperate, it seems.
Oh,
This is
influencers.
Alex Armstrong saying exposed. Ofcom, Office of Communications, are paying influencers to spread propaganda about the Online Safety Act in the UK. Orwell's 1984 isn't just here, it's in full motion. Thank you to Dr. Hoenderkamp for bringing this to my attention. And I gotta say, like, before I can even read this, if you're an influencer accepting this money and doing this, I mean, just pathetic beyond words, really.
Yeah, I agree with Hero Hay there. That is downright scummy. Accepting money to promote government censorship. Like, oh God, really? Really? Is it worth it? It's like Judas with his 30 coins of silver.
So, goes on to say, paid advertisement. It shows this Instagram account here. It reads, as of the 25th of July, anyone trying to access adult content online will have to prove they are over 18.
Well, it's not just bloody pornography, is it? Like, if they're setting up bloody elite troops to track people discussing the migrant hotels, like, it's not just about bloody online adult content. Like, far out.
This is not to ruin anyone's fun, but it's about time that children are protected online. There is an enormous amount of content out there, but some of it is content that is made for adults and not children. This is just
Well, it's definitely something that could be bloody easily monitored.
Arrow, which does cut off some of the text there, but the arrow points to, as you can see, this being an advertisement. So, yeah, I mean, if this is all true, this is not a doctored screenshot, which, I mean, I don't think it is, but, you know, as a disclaimer, I will say, assuming this is all true, I mean, how pathetic, man. Like, I couldn't imagine
it's pretty sad.
that would take money to promote this nonsense, to stand up for this corruption, and to...
I'm not a religious person, but as they say in Dante's Inferno, what is it, the ninth circle of hell is for those betrayers. And that's pretty much where these people would go if there was such a thing. Get their 30 pieces of silver from the government. Yes, Daddy government, we'll support you in your censorship.
To gaslight your own followers about it, to take the money and push this on your followers to try and spread the agenda of these corrupt politicians. I mean, I don't know how someone could possibly ever be okay with that. And it goes without saying, of course, but yeah, doing
it's rubbish.
would be bad too. Yeah, it's just all around, as mentioned, a really pathetic thing. Then I also saw this tweet.
Oh, here we go.
Labour
Down in
government
Australia.
And this app called Signal app, which is apparently a very popular messaging app in Australia. I've never heard of it before.
Signal app? I've never heard of that either, and I'm Australian. Wonder what that's about. Our commitment to end-to-end encryption, maintaining a robust, technically guaranteed privacy for everyone who uses Signal never waves. Well, it's just up to the governments now that want access to this end-to-end encryption so they can scan and see what you're doing, what you're saying. Like, geez. Yeah, Australia's getting pretty bad for this.
This is like popular around the world. I guess I'm just out of the loop. But the tweet reads from Aus Integrity. Breaking. Labour government demands backdoors into encrypted messaging apps.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, from Albanese demanding a backdoor from the Prime Minister that likes going to the Mardi Gras. Got a feeling he does like a bit of backdoor action here and there. Ah, jeez. You know, last year they tried to pass, like, digital ID laws, and it got smacked down by the Senate. And now they're using our e-safety, Karen, to actually push these in without actually passing it through the government. Like, it's sinister. Absolutely sinister. And now with the government demanding access to your messages, just so they can track what you're saying and what you're doing under the guise of, it's for the children, we'll protect them. It's just rubbish. It's an invasion of privacy. It's just tracking what you say and what you do and how that affects Big Daddy government. God, I'm starting to turn into a conspiracy theorist, aren't I?
Whittaker, Signal app's president, said they would exit Australia before giving access. The quote
Good.
being,
So they
"Our
should.
commitment to end-to-end encryption, maintaining robust, technically guaranteed privacy for everyone who uses Signal, never wavers." So the text here in the article says Signal...
You know, that's what these big tech companies should do. Like, they should just turn around to Europe, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, and just go, screw off. If you're going to require these rules and regulations of Face ID, government ID, access to end-to-end encryption, access to people's social media accounts, tell the governments to screw off and just shut down their platforms in this country. Well, these countries. I could guarantee within the space of a couple of months, the governments would turn around and change their tune pretty darn quickly. because then they wouldn't have access to spread their propaganda, their messaging to people. Like, you could just imagine it like the Labor government with their voice referendum. Like, they were quite heavy on social media for that. Then when you had the opposition party with Peter Dutton and whatnot for the No campaign, and then getting accused that social media allowed them to spread mis and disinformation. Like, if they would have had this sort of control back last year when they were pushing these messages, like, they allow an unprecedented power to do what they want. Like, crazy.
Signal boss warns Apple X Australia if forced to hand over users' encrypted messages. So I'll admit, I don't think I fully understand this one, but to my understanding, I don't think Signal currently holds decryption keys. So hypothetically, if the government were to demand like chat logs from their app, they wouldn't be able to hand them over. And this would mean that the government wants them to redesign the app in a way where they create this backdoor access that they would then give the Australian government, which Signal believes would threaten their global security model, and saying they'd rather leave Australia than
so they
do
should.
such a thing. Unless I have this completely mistaken, which I might. And lastly, we've also got some news over in the U.S. This article from torrentfreak.com saying U.S. senators introduce new pirate site blocking bill, Blockbeard. Now, it's actually a very wordy article, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will go over, for about a minute or so, what I find to be some of the highlight areas. Earlier this year, U.S. Rep. Zoe Lofgren introduced a new pirate site blocking bill titled the Foreign Anti-Digital Piracy Act, FATPA. This week, a similar proposal was introduced by Senators Tillis, Coons, Blackburn, and Schiff. The bipartisan bill titled Block Bad Electronic Art and Recording Distributors, Blockbeard, aims to introduce a legal mechanism for rights holders to request site blocking orders. The site blocking proposal seeks to amend U.S. copyright law, enabling rights holders to request federal courts to designate online locations as a foreign digital piracy site, quote unquote. If that succeeds, courts can subsequently order U.S. service providers to block access to these sites.
Okay.
Pirate site designation would be dependent on rights holders showing that they are harmed by a site's activities, that reasonable efforts have been made to notify the site's operator.
Hold on. So if a site harms a person, they can petition to get it blocked. Oh my God. Just log out, go outside, touch some grass. The big bad internet can't harm you out there.
And that a reasonable investigation confirms the operator is not located within the U.S. Additionally, rights holders must show that the site is primarily designed for piracy, has limited commercial purpose, or is intentionally marketed by its operator to promote copyright infringing activities.
So sailing the high seas is no more.
Rights holders can go back to court to request a blocking order. At this stage, the court will determine whether it is technically and practically feasible for ISPs to block the site and consider any potential harm to the public interest. The granted orders would stay in place for a year with the option.
Geez, they tell you that you'll own nothing and be happy. So therefore you go out, you buy a new game, you got to agree with the license that says that you don't own the game, you're only renting the game. So if you're only renting it, then why should you have to buy it? Seriously, why? Like, it's something that you've spent money on. It should be your property, not the property of the company. But then again, it's much the same with everything these days. Streaming services, you're just renting to watch the content there. You don't own it. Same with your Xbox Live and the PlayStation Store. You pay a couple of $100 a year to get access to renting games. You don't own it. Then you go out and you buy the physical disc. Same thing happens. You plug into the internet. You have to agree to their terms and conditions. And then they screw you. You don't own it. We'll shut down the servers. You won't be able to play again. Same with online movies and series. If it's deemed to be a threat to anyone watching it, they can go and edit it however they want to make it more suitable for modern audiences. Oh, God, really?
Option to extend if necessary. If blocked sites switch to new locations, the court can also amend blocking orders to include new IP addresses and domain names. So yeah, Blockbeard and FADPA do seem to be very similar, mainly different.
Sounds like a big wank.
Result are part of the proposals and the judicial process that they are also proposing. I could have phrased that better. But yeah, and that's the final thing I wanted to go over in this video, so I'll leave it there. As always, thank you for tuning in. I know it was kind of a gloomy video in many ways, you know, lots of disturbing stuff going on, to say the least. But regardless, I do hope you enjoyed my coverage, and thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and or subscribing. It helps out greatly. I look forward to seeing you here.
Thank you, Hero. Hey. No. Go give him a like and a sub. He deserves it. Well, he probably doesn't need me to say that, like, considering I've got no viewers, no subs or anything. I gotta admit, I quite like him. He's very down to earth. Well, I think that's going to be just about me for the day. It's been a good stream, hour and a half. Covered a couple of good things, couple of horror stories, read, watched Depths of Despair, and had a bit of a chat about internet censorship. Definitely something to explore in the future. Why do people ask to pin all the time? Curious how this BS is happening at once. Well, yeah, happening in Australia, Canada, Europe, and the UK all simultaneously. Feels like a very concerted sort of effort. So basically the internet is being used in a way that threatens the elite class and they don't like it. Yeah, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with that one. Remember the same people telling us, think of the children. Oh God, they always do that. Think of the satanic panic in the 80s with heavy metal and hard rock. How that was going to corrupt the children. Yeah, just a load of BS. Yep, World War III is being fought between countries, but yet it's people versus the governments. Well, good point. Look at Russia, Ukraine, Cambodia, Thailand, India, Pakistan. Wars are starting all over the place, but yet it's more important to censor the internet than what it is to actually deal with these global threats and conflicts. They really aren't happy about populations of the world speaking out against the respective government's actions. The only harm they're worried about is their own false narratives being called out, hence what we discussed with the Koof Koof. And people like Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand telling the population that believe the government will tell them only the truth, they'll never lie. All this happening once is not a coincidence. Well, yeah, damn right. If they censor porn, everything will be porn. Yeah, funnily enough, that's very true. Just have a look at what's happening with Steam and that with MasterCard and Visa. They weren't happy with the content on Steam, so they went ahead and told them to ban it, otherwise they wouldn't get access to the payment processing. So even stuff in there like anime games and various other things have been taken off as well, thanks to Collective Shout, bloody Australian organisation full of Karens. Freedom without rules is anarchy, rules without freedom is tyranny. Yeah, sums it up. This is how Rome fell. Sadly, I don't think Rome had Pirate Bay or various other things. They get too big, too corrupt, form too many enemies and implode on their own ego. A reminder that this is the same UN that considers Japan as a misogynistic society than the ones in Afghanistan or Saudi Arabia or UAE. That's a good point. Don't think for even a second I forgot all those times the UN got caught with CP. They're going to regret it when it backfires on them. Well, that's true. Like currently at the moment, you have certain governments of the left-wing persuasion that are pushing this sort of thing, and eventually the pendulum will swing back. The right will have access to these laws and powers, and don't think that they won't actually do the same thing again, but this time targeting the left. These people always seek revenge on each other. They never do it for the benefit of the people. They do it for the benefit of themselves. If you're not already, please watch 1984 as a warning what can happen if we don't speak out now before it's too late. Well, funny thing is, it is too late now. Like, regardless, people are speaking out in the UK. They even made petitions to the government to say that they're not happy about this, and yet what the government do, they turn around and said, yeah, fuck off, we'll do it anyway. This whole thing was calculated, coordinated attack, wasn't it? It's strange that it all happened at once. Oh yeah, they're right. So a bunch of old people who most likely don't even know how to use the internet properly are going to dictate how we're supposed to use it. Can't see any way how it can go wrong. Well, it's not just the old people that are dictating how to use the internet. It's people that have a agenda of what they want. They want to push things, and they don't want any argument or fights to stop them from doing it. That's all it comes down to. Like, just look at the United States at the moment. Like, they tried hard to keep Trump out. They used all this mis and disinformation to, basically keep him out of office. He got in, and you've still got these same sort of agendas being run by different organizations and companies and countries still slagging off on him. Like, I don't really care about American politics. Don't really care what Trump's doing. But you can see the way the media tries to destroy everything that he does. Like, for example, there was a news article here in Australia talking about basically how Australians don't like Trump. And the way they phrased it was Trump's approval ratings down. Then when you had a look at the actual article, its ratings were down amongst Australians, not amongst Americans. Because according to the Americans, it's actually, he's got a high approval rating over there at the moment. But the media wants to use mis and disinformation, as they say, to pass or to spread what they're saying. Like, it's just madness. As I said, it'll swing back to the right again. They'll use these powers to do what they want. It's not for us. It's all for them. The road to dystopia is paved with the promises of utopia. Yeah, that's a good point. What else have we got here? Wars and many crises exist. United Nations, we sleep, internet exists, United Nations, this is the Avengers level threat. God. As we know, adult content has been around since Adam was a boy and Eve was a girl. People could get access to it no matter what. Back in my days, there was magazines, there was videos. You could read them, you could see them. You just had to know where to look. And now suddenly, the hub's been around for God knows how long. Then you got the OnlyFans girls and whatnot. And now's the time that they want to focus on protecting children. Don't give me that rubbish. They never cared. Like, just look at the video that we just watched with Hero Hay, especially with the United Kingdom. If they cared about the children, they wouldn't have allowed all those girls to be assaulted. They don't care. They just don't. And to think that they do is just idiocy. Government doesn't care about you. They only care about how they line their own pockets. That's it. That's exactly it. They just don't give a flying fuck. Okay. Aragoi. Oh well. Indica macabolic samalis. Alright, I did plan to exit this stream about 10 minutes ago, but I've just got on rambling about stuff. Anyway, for the people that tuned in, thank you for watching. You can find me on YouTube, on Rumble, Aswang Mike. That's where my horror narrations are. I will be opening up a second channel soon, where I'll start putting this sort of content, stream content, putting it online for, just to share. Well, thank you. And remember, keep watching for what's in the dark.